Stories are told of people, of places, about incidents, and of histories, of adventure, and of romance, of drama, and of intrigue. This story is about all of the above and more. This is also the story of a spirit that for more than a century has compromised nothing in realizing its vision through its passion for excellence, its giving nature, its sensitivity towards the needs of every guest. A spirit that has always and will continue to push for the finest. This is the spirit of the Taj.
And this story is about how that spirit can be yours, can be mine, can be an integral part of all of us, so that we together can push for the finest and we together can say, I am the Taj. The Taj Hotels, Resorts and Palaces, of which you are a valued part, has but one mission, that of being recognized as the finest hotels in the world. Obviously, that will happen only when we all push ourselves from the already fine levels of service that we offer, only when we push for the finest. So friends, let me be your guide and help you achieve our mission of being the finest. First, we are going to look at the key drivers of our service, which are being sensitive, passionate, and giving. We shall also see how can we connect with our guests using the fundamental skills of empathy, observing, listening, attuning, and resolving. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate to you our fundamental skill set by listening into, observing, and even speaking to your colleagues sometimes. And maybe you'll also catch a friend somewhere, or maybe even see yourself.
Hey Jatin, this lesson's been such an eye-opener. There are so many little things that make such a difference. Things I never ever imagined, but I guess this is what makes us special as the Taj.
You're absolutely right, Chitra. For all of us, I think, how a little change in attitude and mindset can make us all more sensitive, passionate, and giving.
True.
This program has compelled me to wonder when was the last time I was actually passionate on the job.
Notice what is happening with your colleagues. The service drivers of being sensitive, passionate, and giving are becoming an integral part of their day-to-day conversations, thinking, and behavior because they have been introduced to these. They've also been shown how to bring these service drivers alive through their actions. In fact, they're checking whether their actions are in sync with the service drivers. Good job, guys. But just for your knowledge, let me share this with you. Being sensitive is recognizing the needs and feelings of guests.
Ma'am, allow me.
Anticipating unexpressed needs. Treating guests with respect. Maintaining discretion and privacy. Understanding cultural differences. Being passionate means being energetic and enthusiastic. Taking initiative and responsibility. Having a positive and can-do attitude. Being obsessive about every detail. Striving for excellence in everything we do. And giving is the quality of the spirit of generosity from the heart, putting our colleagues and guests before ourselves. Pride in our hotel, our colleagues, the Taj, the Tata Group, and our community. Now we've spoken about three service drivers of sensitivity, passion, and spirit of giving. These drivers will help us make a connection with our guests. This in turn will lead to guest delight. But obviously, The question is how. How do you get into the mind of the guest and then find a way into his heart? Simple, by connecting. This is your bridge. The bridge that will make you the best professional, the favorite of your guests. And yes, there are also 5 fundamentals that you can practice in order to make a deeper connection. And these are empathy, observing, listening, attuning, and resolving. Big words, so let's not talk about them. Let's see them in action.
Please, can someone move here fast? I've been on this 12-hour flight and my bags haven't arrived. I really need to get to my room, so will you please hurry up?
Mr. Dawson, I can understand this must be very upsetting for you. May I please request you for your baggage misplaced receipt?
Baggage misplacement receipt. Here it is.
Thank you, sir. We'll follow up with the airline for you and ensure that your bags reach to you at the earliest. Meanwhile, we've already placed a fresh nightwear in your room for you to sleep comfortably in. And also we will ensure overnight laundering of your clothes.
Wow, that's great. Chitra, right?
Right, sir.
Hey, but I've got this business meeting tomorrow afternoon and I'm going to need a suit, a shirt, a tie.
Certainly, Mr. Dawson, my colleague can escort you to the shopping arcade where you can choose from the various options available. We do have some really nice ties and would be glad to offer you one with our compliments. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
No, that sounds fine. Reasonable under the circumstances.
Please note what happened here. Chitra actually felt and demonstrated empathy. First, she built trust with Mr. Dawson and thus allowed him to release his emotions. Throughout the interaction, she remained non-judgmental, and this resulted in reducing tensions. Her empathy allowed important information to surface, that of Mr. Dawson needing a suit and tie, and created an environment for settling the issue. This is a clear demonstration of strong empathy at work. We have witnessed how empathy is important because it builds trust, allows someone to release their emotions, helps being non-judgmental, reduces tensions, creates an environment for resolving. Empathy must not be confused with sympathy or the fact that you share another's viewpoint. What it means is that you identify with their concerns and understand where they're coming from. You are interested in what they are saying and validate their right to feel the way they do. With this, we arrive at the second fundamental of connecting, the second of the skills that will enable you to forge a deep connection, the skill of observation. Tell me what you see here. Go on, look carefully, observe. What do you see? You see a regular room, right? Obviously an occupied room, a room that has been used by the guest and now needs to be serviced. Now let me summon my magic powers and call out my man. Hey, Jatin.
Oh, hello coach. How may I assist you?
Jatin, please observe this room and share with my friendly camera what you see.
Well, I see a bed that has been slept on the left side while the turn down is on the right. I also notice the chocolate tray has been moved towards the left side and only the white chocolate has been consumed. I see a business magazine open while the fashion and society magazines are completely untouched. And I also observe a book on the bedside table. Moving on towards the bathroom, I see that all the face towels have been used and thrown down.
What did I say his name was? Jatin. Yes, Jatin, not Sherlock Holmes. Well, Jatin, what happens now?
Well, having observed the guest preferences, I will now share this data with my concerned colleagues and store the same in the guest profile. This will enable us to build a deeper connection with our guests.
Well, go on.
Since the guest prefers to sleep on the left-hand side, the turn down will obviously happen on the preferred side. An extra helping of white chocolate to be placed on the tray because that's what the guest likes. More business magazines and literature to be kept here because that's what the area of interest is. I will also place a bookmark on the book and more face towels to be stocked up in the bathroom.
This is a textbook case. where most people would only see an unserviced guest room, Jatin actually observed. He deduced needs, anticipated them, and performed by practicing the fundamental skill of observation.
Absolutely, coach. But why are you making me out to be more of a hero than I am? If you just walk through the hotel, you will see a lot of this observing in action.
Good evening, Mr. Wong. It's a pleasure to welcome you again. It's been 2 months since your last visit to India. May I get you your regular nasi goreng with 2 eggs on top? Or may I bring you something else today?
Yes, please.
Ma'am, would you like a similar room with the garden view as per your preference?
Good evening, Mr. Sen. The Bacardi with a slice of lime. And a 1 cube of ice, as usual. Top up with the Coke. The way you like it. Cheers.
Thank you, mate.
See what I mean? The bartender obviously observed Mr. Sen's preference from a previous time and performed in an appropriate and proactive manner. So coach, I hope you're impressed with how our associates have managed to observe and store individual guest preferences. For all our guests, they have attempted to create a personalized Taj experience.
What is our learning here? Observe, focus, listen and pay subtle attention to the needs and preferences of guests. Study the guest behavior and environment. Notice preferences and habits. Store. Make mental notes of your insights of guest expectations and repeat behavior. Take note of observations and store in a guest database. Pass what you learn on to your colleagues. Perform. Anticipate guest needs based on stored information and act positively in a spirit of generosity. Deliver without being asked. Improved observation skills mean improved data collection and more effective performance. For service providers, developing a keen sense of observation is a must. The crux of the technique lies in simply keeping your eyes and ears open at all times and never failing to register what you see or hear. Some great habits that can help you build your observation skills are trying to look at everyday life in a clear manner, trying not to judge people, being open to new experiences and ideas, and developing good listening skills. You have all been watching me, but have you really been listening? Let us now move on to the next essential skill of creating connections, the skill of listening. Let us first see what happens when we do not listen.
I think I clearly requested that the shirt not be folded but be delivered on a hanger.
Did I not specify that I'd like to have lots of onions on my uttapam?
Wasn't I clear that I need a non-smoking room?
All very obvious examples of somebody not attentively listening. However, because these are obvious, we need to be extra careful. Let us look at a more subtle example of listening, and then I will invite your comments as to whether this is a professional style of listening or not.
Goodness. This soup is really not at the temperature that I like it at.
Yes, sir. Sir, you went out just as I served it.
No, that's not really what I meant.
No, sir, of course not.
On the face of it, our associate is apparently doing what is right, listening to the guest, offering explanations and then offering solutions. However, Let's look a little closely and look as well as listen.
No, that's not really what I meant.
Here the guest seems to want to say what he really means, but before he can do that,
No, sir, of course not.
in a hurry to agree, our associate unfortunately has neither heard nor registered what the guest wants. What he has done is heard but not listened. And if he would have really listened, he would have understood our guest. He has not listened to the complete message before reacting to it.
What I meant is that it is still a little hotter than I prefer it. So would you be able to get me a glass of that wonderful wine that you served me while I wait for it to cool?
Certainly, sir.
Thank you. You'll have to wait.
Ouch. Lack of listening has led to a loss of an opportunity to create a deeper connection with the guest. No prizes for guessing that this is not exactly the right way to listen. So what exactly is empathic listening and what can it achieve? Let me explain. Empathic listening is a way of listening and responding to another person that improves understanding and trust. It enables the listener to receive and interpret the speaker's message in order to provide an appropriate response. Listening enables us to anticipate our guests' needs, even when they do not express them. The benefits of listening are: builds trust and respect, allows for a release of emotions, reduces tension, encourages sharing of information, creates an environment for collaborative problem solving. Now, let us connect with another essential skill for making connections. But before I explain to you what it is, let's see what our old friend Chitra is up to.
May I assist you, ma'am?
Yes, but I wonder if you can assist me with this.
We'll try our best to assist you, ma'am. Please do share your concern.
Well, I hired a taxi from India Gate to this hotel. If I'm not mistaken, the amount should not be more than 100 rupees.
Absolutely, Mrs. Maida.
But this cab guy is asking me for 500.
Mrs. Maida, don't worry about it anymore. Allow us to speak to the driver and settle this for you.
Now Chitra will speak to the guard and settle the taxi fare. Later, she will charge this to the guest account by a paid out. Did you notice Chitra's tone, words, speech and body language? Why did she tone down? This was a brilliant example of a tuning where Chitra matched and mirrored the guest's behavior to make a connection. I'll replay this and now notice carefully what Chitra is doing. She is connecting by attuning herself to her guest. She is establishing a rapport that is going much beyond the verbal, and she is doing this by a technique called mirroring. She is mirroring and matching her guest's body language and gestures. This is an example of making a connection through a tuning.
Absolutely, coach, and it's not even difficult. It's good to be conscious of attuning with the guest, but most of us, when we are in the act of engaged or empathic listening, do it subconsciously too.
See how our duty manager is interacting with our corporate guest. So you see, it's all about the ability to enter another person's world by assuming a similar state of mind. The first thing to do is to become more like the other person by matching and mirroring the person's behaviors, body language, voice, words, and facial expressions. Matching and mirroring is a powerful way of getting an appreciation of how the other person is seeing or experiencing the world. Mirroring is a very useful technique, but one must be careful in its deployment. It can never be allowed to become mimicry. That would kill any connection that may happen. Now, we've reached the final skill of resolving that you need to internalize. you are familiar with service recovery. All guest complaints must be addressed as first priority. Service failures must not be left unresolved because they lead to a loss of trust and rapport. We gain opportunities to connect and engage when we resolve any issues that cause dissatisfaction or irritation to our guests.
What's up with you guys, man? This is the second time tonight that my room key card is not working. Each time I have to come down from my room.
This is a service failure, and here is an opportunity to forge a deeper connect with our guest. Let's see what happens.
Sir, allow me to explain what really happened.
A polite and understanding response, one would think. To calm down the guest and resolve the situation? No?
Sir, allow me to explain what really happened.
Explain? You really think I need explanations? Would it be too much to ask for this thing to just work rather than ask for an explanation?
Uh-oh. An elementary mistake. The situation is getting aggravated rather than getting resolved. Although polite and well-meaning, yet not listening fully, not apologizing, rather offering explanations and displaying defensive behavior. There is a simple process to resolving any service failure, the LEARN process, which primarily stands for listen, empathize, apologize, respond, and notify. By following these steps well, we may convert a potentially dissatisfied guest to a delighted guest. Now, since I am the coach and this is the last skill we will be talking of, let me exercise a special privilege and reverse this scene. We are going to play this again, only this time we will have my star pupil Chitra here, doing all the right things, of course.
What's up with you guys? This is the second time tonight that my room key card is not working. Each time I have to come down. What's going on?
I completely understand how upsetting it must be for you. I apologize for the inconvenience, sir.
Notice what Chitra does. She has first actively listened and then expressed empathy and made an apology. Naturally, she has the situation under some control, and the guest has also not aggravated the issue. Now is the time to respond and notify. Let's see what Chitra does.
Please allow me to reprogram your key, Mr. Carlos. May I also request you not to place the card next to your cell phone as the radiation interferes with the configuration of the magnetic strip.
Oh, I did not know that. Thanks for telling me that, Chitra. That's a useful bit of information.
You're welcome, Mr. Carlos. I'm sure you'll have no inconvenience with your room key now.
Sure, thanks.
Not only is the situation resolved, a new wow has been created for our guest. So what did Chitra really do that our first associate did not? Number one, she did not immediately become defensive. Number two, she did not immediately offer explanations. And of course, she followed all the steps of the resolving process. In addition to being polite, you have to guard against at all times the all too human tendency of becoming defensive. This might not be easy, as the guest may also be wrong at times, as we witnessed in this case. In either case, we should not be defensive, as if we are busy defending ourselves, we are not connecting with our guests. So remember, next time, not to blame others, not to make excuses, not to get angry, not to deny or sulk. Or maybe, as in our all too human associate here, do all of the above. There is a better way, the way of pushing for the finest, the Taj way, the way we've just seen Chitra demonstrate, the LEARN way. This is a way that has been demonstrated to you by my star pupils, and I do hope that all of you too will imbibe the best practices that they have internalized and will showcase at every guest interaction.
Coach, if you may contribute our bit, there is a service language that we imbibe here and consciously follow. At Taj, we're always polite, warm, courteous, considerate, respectful, easy to understand, and gentle.
We never use words or phrases that kill any possibility of connection with our guest. Some of these killer words are, actually, I won't even use them here. Please take a look and erase them from your memory as words you just once knew.
Today we have revisited the Taj service philosophy you are so very familiar with. We spoke of our vision of being recognized as the finest hotels in the world. We referred to 3 service drivers, which are passion for excellence, spirit of giving, and our sensitivity to the individual needs of every guest. Sensitivity is recognizing the needs, feelings, and anticipating unexpressed needs of the guests by observing and listening. Passion involves energy, enthusiasm, initiative, can-do attitude, and being obsessive about every detail. Giving is about the spirit of generosity and taking pride in our hotel, our colleagues, the Taj, the Tata Group, and our community. We also discussed that these service drivers will help us make a connection with the guest. For easier understanding of connecting one-to-one, we visited 5 fundamentals of connecting. 1. Empathy is identifying with your guests' concerns and shows that you understand where they're coming from. 2. Listening is the skill of really listening to the guests with full attention and understanding what the guest wants. 3. Observing is watching for the clues and reading guests' posture, gestures, eyes, facial expressions, and tone of voice so that we can capture the guest's preferences. 4. Attuning is the ability to attune your emotions with others and building high quality of rapport. 5. Resolving is attending to the guest's complaints and resolving these to the fullest satisfaction of the guest by breaking away from whatever you may be doing. Now is the time for you to commit to the Taj service philosophy and service drivers. I'm sure you are ready to give the required push to become the finest hotels in the world.
Cut!
It has been a long day for you, coach. May I offer you a glass of chilled water and a cold towel?
Why, thank you so much, Suhas. And I tell you what, it's great to see the principles already being put to practice. Well done, my boy.
Thank you.